Today's video is sponsored by BetterHelp.com, and I've been with them for a long time. BetterHelp is an online platform where we found that you can effectively communicate with your therapist. Now, you begin by filling out a questionnaire, and then you'll be matched with a therapist within a couple of days. And if that match isn't ideal for you, you can certainly make an adjustment there. Now, you're going to be encouraged to journal, and also they have the availability for group therapy on a wide array of topics, and I really like that. So as the need exists, go ahead and take the necessary steps to get the help that you need. And just know that BetterHelp has a 4.5 rating on Trustpilot, so it indeed is a platform you can trust. There's a link below the video that will take you there. Hey, Team Healthy. Glad to be here with you yet again for another episode of Unbound. Let's keep in mind that the whole content of the Unbound series is driven by you. I go through the comments section and I pick up on questions and comments that you make, and then I morph them into to episodes here where I can speak directly into some of the primary things that you're dealing with, and we can be that much more pertinent. Now, today I have a question about a narcissist's internal chaos, and then this person kind of throws in a couple of explanatory thoughts and questions, and then I've got a couple of other illustrations that others have written in that illustrate what that chaos is about. And it's so necessary for us to understand that when narcissists come toward you, they carry a whole lot of baggage, and that whole lot of baggage is something that they don't want to have to deal with, and so they dump it onto you. That's part of their narcissistic chaos. Let's dive right into it today. This first person asks, can you comment on the narcissist's internal chaos? Why do narcissists so willingly ignore plain truth? It baffles me how somebody can swing from normal to abnormal so easily. Why live a life like this? And when this person refers to internal chaos, and of course they've heard me say that before, and then they nail it when they say they so willingly ignore just plain truth, the narcissist kind of has this notion that says, well, if I say something, if I say that if something is inaccurate or something is just off base or irrelevant, then by virtue of the fact that I said it, it's true. And it's important for you to realize that this represents their number one pain management strategy. Did you catch that? Now, we often hear about them having a lot of fear and shame and all at the base of their personality, which they do, but they carry a great deal of pain and hurt and disillusionment, pessimism regarding life in general. And so if they can say, well, then there's something going on here, and they ignore the pain, the reality of who they are, then somehow that makes their problems magically disappear. Now, let me give you a couple of illustrations of how this works. Another person writes in and says, I no longer talk to my narcissistic siblings. They're never wrong and must be in the controlling position. Each lies easily and cannot accept responsibility for their actions. OMG, I don't understand how people can be like this. They're always playing the victim, trying to turn people against people. Now, I'm hoping you're picking up on all sorts of cues. We're going to come back and identify some of them. Another person writes in and says, and I love the way this person puts it, my ex has a magical reset button. Ever heard of that one? He can be incredibly mean. Then later, when he tries to justify his version of the abuse, he's different and less severe until his magic button completely deletes it. It's so frustrating how he goes back into his alternate reality and comes back and tells me how he's a good man, deserves better, as if he'd never done anything wrong to begin with. Why do they have to be so dishonest with themselves? Okay, now I want to go back. We're picking up on this first questioner's comment about, what's going on? Why do they ignore plain truth? And I want you to see all of the evidences, the indicators that this chaotic mindset is in play. Now, going through these two illustrations I just read you, I picked up on 12. You may pick up on a few more. First, never wrong. Then next, they must be in the controlling position. A third way they show their chaos is they lie easily. And fourth, they cannot accept responsibility. 5, they're always playing the victim. 6, trying to turn people against people. That's called triangulation. I'm going to talk to you about what this person says, and I'm going to get you all mixed up with each other, and I win. Number 7 has a magical reset button. In other words, they just delete stuff. That's going to be another one. Number 8, they can be incredibly mean. Number 9, tries to justify. Number 10, the magical button deletes whatever they don't want. Number 11, they go back into alternate reality. In other words, they just make up truth to whatever suits them. And then number 12, they're very dishonest with themselves. Now, do you see all of that? That's a dozen of them right there, just in 2 simple little illustrations. And all this tells us is narcissists are terribly confused people who try to come across as the opposite of that. They want to give you the sense that they're very certain. They can come across with strong criticisms. They can come across with bossiness and telling you what's wrong with you, and they just can find all sorts of difficulty with you. Why is that? And I go back to the concept of pain avoidance. Rather than them saying, I am struggling on the inside, there is so much in my life that doesn't make sense, it hurts me, it's frustrating, I need to figure out why I respond in the way that I do. No, the narcissist is thinking, no, that takes way too much brain power if they even think that far. Instead, why don't we just go ahead and say it's all your fault? And so what they'll do is they'll project and they'll put all of their issues onto you. They've already concluded being responsible for me doesn't work very well. And of course, I have 2 thoughts on that. How did they learn to think that way? Somewhere along the way, they learn that being open about your issues or being too different or being too controversial is going to get you in trouble. So they came up with all sorts of coping devices. And then another question is when they say being open about my problems doesn't work for me, then my question is, well, what does? And they're thinking, well, I've got a lot of things that work for me, if you want to call it that. I can go into denial. That works for me. I can shame you. That works for me. I can bully. I can give stubbornness. And I'm over here thinking, so is that your idea of a good life? Those are the characteristics that make you a right kind of person? And you know what their response is? It just goes right over their head. They don't even respond. It's like, well, let's see. They keep just going on. Well, what else? Well, I guess I could criticize, and maybe I can keep secrets, or I can just constantly just make you feel miserable by non-cooperation. There's a whole lot of things that work for me. That's what we're talking about when I say they bring internal chaos. There's nothing on the inside that's settled. They try to make it appear as though it's settled, and the problem is it's settled. You're a problem to me. That's the way they think it. When in fact, you go back and with these 2 illustrations that I just gave about these individuals who are never wrong, and they lie easily, and they're incredibly mean, then they make up excuses. That tells me that you have somebody that's carrying chronic turmoil and tension on the inside. They've never resolved it, and it's the mark of a psychologically inept individual. That's what you're dealing with. And so going back to that first person's question, can you comment on a narcissist's internal chaos? When you have so many unfinished elements in your personality, like what we're just describing right here in these simple comments that y'all are writing in, you realize these individuals they're like grade school children that think, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to handle life. I don't know how to be responsible. So I'm just going to come up with any old short-term thing that will satisfy. And as adults, these narcissists don't connect the dots and realize, well, the longer I act the way that is being described in these comments, then the more these problems keep recurring. And so their problems are never solved, but it's always everybody else's fault. Now, here on Team Healthy, we can look at these things and think, well, sometimes I think this way. I mean, for example, I don't like to admit when I'm wrong, or sometimes, I can come across too controlling, or I hold back, or my irritability gets away with me. We too can have these issues, but the rest of the story with Team Healthy is And when I notice what these issues are, I'm thinking, well, someone in this equation needs to take responsibility for what's going on inside of me. I think that's going to be me. And the narcissist is over there thinking, yeah, it's a great idea. It needs to be you. And you want to say to the narcissist, well, why don't you join me in the effort? You take responsibility for me. I'll take responsibility for you. Perhaps we can each help one another along the way. We call that collegiality. And the narcissist is thinking, no, you're doing a good enough job. I don't need to join you in that. Okay. I get it. And they go on and they live in chaos. They try to put their chaos onto you. And I'm hoping you can realize, well, the best way for me to stay out of their chaos is to A, be objective and know who I am despite what their proclamations may be. And then B, I'm going to need to separate off from their chaos and then make sure that I'm joining up with individuals who don't share in that chaotic mindset. They actually like being honest and open and self-responsible. That's who I need to hang out with. So keep your questions coming in. I love it when I'm able to respond to things like this. It allows me to know who you, my audience, are, and then we can respond to that in a very directive kind of way. If you haven't already hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do so, and we'll keep more of these coming. I have my videos now that I'm producing, and then I have the Unbound series that I'm producing. So I'm trying to make it a nice mix for you, so that it can be something that can be very educational and inspirational for you. Now, I've got my sponsors, and you know that I'm a huge proponent of psychotherapy. We've got betterhelp.com that will help you. So as the need is there, please go in that direction. Also, I have on my website, I have my courses that are very extensive, 25 videos per course and handouts, etc. We have my webinars, my articles, access to my books, lots of resources there. So go to the website and see if you can access all of that. We really try to help you with respect to all of that. Just know that narcissists are in fact going to bring a whole lot of their unfinished business to you and then turn around and say, yeah, and the whole time you're the problem. And don't buy into that baloney. Instead, remind yourself, no, I'm on Team Healthy. I stand for dignity, respect, and civility. And clearly when they run in the counter direction to it, all that tells you is you're dealing with somebody who doesn't get it. Remain true to who you are, remain true in your initiatives, and then I'm hoping that in doing so, it allows you to become a person of steadiness that they simply can't bring. They're too committed to that internal chaos.